The scenery outside reminds me of my pride, reminds me of my will. At the windowsill, I sit and see the grays, the children they all play and laugh amongst themselves. Somehow remind me of myself on the merry-go-round.
What's going on, YouTube? It is Trev. All right, we're going to start right here, although there are a few things that I want to talk to you about today. So if you could, stay tuned for them all. But probably the biggest news, and we need to get right to it, Tobias Anderson, a.k.a. Zaradar, has left the building. Put out this tweet this afternoon around 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and he says, "I've decided to withdraw my offer entirely. The risk reward is simply not worth it anymore. I wish you all the best, and I am sure others will keep working towards a better future for Lunk." So some of us kind of knew this was coming. This is what he has been saying he wanted to do. And, you know, many were hoping that they could maybe convince him otherwise, or that he would have a change of heart. Maybe if we finagled things a little bit, maybe changed around the rest of the proposal, right, for Q2 funding, but, you know, still gave him the money that he wanted. You know, maybe we could get him to stay. And I think maybe he might have hinted at he's not going to negotiate his price, right, which maybe left some people to think, well, if we can get everything else passed, maybe he'll stay with us at least for this quarter, right? But in talking to him, and, you know, I know I've been talking to him as much as I can. I know Steve, Lunkburn Army's been talking to him. I'm sure Ed and everybody else has been talking to him here and there. In talking to him, I mean, you really just got the tone that he was kind of done. Done with all of the aggravation. As he says, the risk reward simply isn't worth it anymore, right? Now, there are people that are going to say, well, you know, he gave up the Twitter futters, the you know, the trolls, or the trolls win, right? No, they don't win. This decision, I'm confident, was made for his own happiness, right? His own happiness. You ever heard the saying, follow your bliss? He's following his bliss, and I absolutely endorse it. I encourage it. I support it. You know, you got to be happy, no matter what you're doing, no matter what kind of relationship you're in or whatever. If you're not happy, why do you want to be there? Life's too short, right? So he hasn't been happy because, you know, he's doing and you know, just constantly with the arguments and everything else. Having to babysit, you know, really. Constantly having to defend not only himself, but everybody else. I mean, there's so many things that really make it not worth it. And for the money that he's being paid, you know, it seems like a lot of money to a lot of us who have lived with significantly less than that. But in his realm, in his life, in his profession, it was peanuts. It really wasn't a lot of money at all, okay? Take, you know, like we look at football players or basketball players or whatever, and we look at the millions of dollars that they're getting in their contracts per year, or you break it down per game. What they're getting to play a game and to be healthy and to be famous or whatever, what they're getting paid for that job is astounding to us all, right? And we really can't even fathom that kind of money. But it's gotten to the point where we really don't even question it. And what are they doing? Well, they're making money for somebody else, and so they pay them to do that, right? In Zaradar's line of work, it's the same thing. As a programmer, you're working for someone else. They need their software and their programs. They need everything to work. And if you're making this stuff work, and these IT companies make buku money, right? If you're making them money, then they will take care of you and they will pay you. So it's, you know, it's kind of the same thing, right? It might not make sense to us, and it might seem like, well, you know, we're paying you a lot, but in the realm of things, he's really not getting paid a lot for what you have to kind of put up with in this community. And I've talked about it extensively, right? So he made that decision. That's a decision he made. I'm fine with it. I wish it weren't the case, but it's not that I wish Zaradar would stay. I do believe that the chain needs him. I think that the chain is better with him. It's that I wish this weren't the atmosphere that made him finally decide to leave, right? It's the same atmosphere that, has got me, not really all that confident in things either, right? And everybody else who is still there, let me tell you, they've all at one time or another considered, why am I doing this? Is it worth it? Should I just bail out? A lot of people are at that point. So it is what it is. Now, today I listened to the Lug Burn Army on Happy Caddy Crypto podcast on Zoom. I guess today was the first day he ever used Zoom, which is something I've been using since the beginning. I find it a really nice program to use for these live streams. But I have an account, right? I kind of paid for it per month. And so I can stream as long as I want. He didn't really start his account yet, but he wanted to use it maybe to try it out. And so every, I don't know if it's 45 minutes or whatever, the meeting shuts down and you have to start a whole new meeting. So he had to do that a few times because I think they were actually on for maybe a couple hours. And there was a lot of good information that was talked about there. Happy has a unique perspective on some things, and he has a similar perspective to a lot of us, but he also tends to look at things a little differently in some ways. So it's good to have all these different interviews from all these different people. I think Aesop's did one with TGF recently. Obviously, you guys know that I talk to these guys quite often because everybody's going to think of things from a different way, and so you end up getting a lot of information when you kind of vary it up like that. So it was pretty good that he was on today, LBA. And I suggest that you go and check it out if you haven't checked it out already, because Steve, Lunkburn Army, really spells things out in a calm fashion. When you're one-on-one and you're in, just doing this, people like to call them AMAs. I just like to call it a live chat. Happy calls it a podcast. When you're doing these, you have time to breathe. You have time to really answer fully and talk about really how you're feeling about things, So we get a more genuine conversation than you do in the frantic attacking kind of atmosphere of a Twitter space. I don't think that the Twitter spaces are beneficial in any way, shape, or form, right? Not the ones that have been run lately anyway. It is possible to run one and to run it in a different way and probably, and have it be actually to control it, right? And have it be kind of beneficial, but the ones that are being held now, they're just not conducive to actually getting out some real information. So go and check out that interview if you can. I think that you will like it. All right. The last thing that I want to talk about is something that has been mentioned quite a bit lately. Somebody must have brought this up, maybe in a Twitter space. I don't know. But the fact that Edward Kim applied for $5 million, I guess it's a grant, from Binance for TGF. I'm not sure exactly when he did this. This wasn't recent. I think he actually did this a while ago. He may have even done it one time and didn't go anywhere and then did it a second time, I think I heard. I really didn't look into it, right? But that's what I'm hearing happened. So anyway, a lot of people have been talking about it and speculating about, how great it would be to have that $5 million. We can do this, we can do that. I've heard a lot of people asking, and I even heard them talking about it today, Happy Caddy and Lunkburn Army, talking about, well, what are the chances of us getting it? With all the work that the L1 task force has done and all these things, do you think that the chances are a little better? Well, I wish I had actually put this video out and got this information to you maybe before that even came out. But I was working today. But I did hear from, I've said before, you guys are well aware that I have some friends who have some friends, and some friends in some pretty high places. Some people that are in these Binance circles. And every once in a while I can get a little information. But I have to tell you, and I have to make it clear that this is I didn't talk to anybody at Binance. I didn't hear any of this stuff directly from Binance, right? This is information that I get from a source that I trust, but that doesn't mean that you have to trust them, okay? Always do your own due diligence. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. And this source is close to these circles, right? So when I asked this morning about this grant, this $5 million, and what are the chances that it'll actually be approved, I asked, can you make some inquiries, see what's the scuttlebutt in the office over there, and the answers that I got were this. They haven't decided yet. Haven't decided yes, haven't decided no. Okay. It's not a no because they are still waiting for some things to play out. They're waiting, it seems, to clarify some information that they have that they're not really sure about. Okay. But it's not a yes right now. So, what I heard is that it is a concern, possibly, that Edward Kim submitted this proposal or this application or whatever it is that you have to do to get this money. However, it is unclear at this point what Edward Kim's position with TGF is at the moment. Okay, if you're submitting a proposal or filling out an application to get that kind of funding or any kind of funding for your organization, but then before the funding even comes in or before a decision is made, right, you're not even part of the organization anymore, that could slow things up, right? And so there needs to be some clarification there, because some people are under the impression that Edward Kim is not a member of TGF anymore. Does that null and void the application? It might. Now, we're told that those guys, Ed and whoever else, maybe Marco, I don't know, are having conversations with Binance. So the information that I have, shouldn't hold as much weight as the information that we get from them, because they're talking directly to Binance. I'm just telling you that I might be hearing something a little different than maybe some of the information that's coming out, right? Or maybe they're aware of this stuff and we're not being, made aware. I don't know, right? I don't know. But this is just what I'm going to tell you. Also, there is a concern at this point that we do not have an L1 task force. It was said to me that, hypothetically, if this loan, or not loan, grant, whatever it is, this $5 million were given to TGF for the Terra Classic community blockchain, right? Binance would want to know that money was not going to be used for anything frivolous, right? They want to know that money is going to be used for developing and strengthening the chain. I didn't go into big detail because I don't even know if there was a lot of detail to get. I am assuming, this is my assumption, I'm assuming that what that means is that if TGF even gets that money, that Binance in some way, shape, or form is going to dictate what can and cannot be done with that money. It will probably come with conditions, with caveats, right? If we get it at all. And right now it's unsure. They really have not made a decision. But like I said, it's not a yes. And the feeling that I got from the conversation that I had was that in the state things are in right now, they're not ready to just reject it, but it is not a yes right now, and it is not going to be a yes until some things work themselves out. I don't know how long that's going to take. I really don't know at this point exactly what Ed's position is with TGF. We had heard that he was turning the whole thing over to Marco and going to go do his AI thing in the side chain or whatever, and would be available here and there if needed. But as far as I know, he stepped down from TGF, right? So does it need to be resubmitted by Marco? Or, I don't know. If these guys have this information, it would be nice if they were actually sharing it with us and letting us know what's going on along the way. But anyway, that's where we are with that. I wouldn't put a lot of hope right now in getting that money until we hear something a little more positive. It might happen, it might not happen. Right now, it doesn't seem likely that it's going to happen, or at least going to happen anytime soon. All right. Tobias is gone. They were talking, even after, and the funny thing is the announcement and the tweet was made during the podcast with HCC and LBA. And they still continued to go on and say, well, maybe he'll change his mind. Well, how do we get him back? How do we... I don't think you do. I don't think you do. He was already saying, I'm probably not coming back, probably not coming back, probably not coming back. Now I think that this tweet is pretty decisive. And I don't think that there's a way that we're going to get him back. So I think that we, at this point, just have to come to terms with that and move on. Now, in certain circles, I'm sure they are cheering. Hooray! Right? The Wicked Witch of the West is dead. They're very happy, I'm sure, in some circles right now. In some Discords and some TGs, I'm sure there's celebration going on. But here's the thing. You guys who wanted him out so badly, it's only because he had community affection and appreciation and trust. It's only because he was good at what he did and didn't really take any shit from anybody else. It's only because he had power and you want that power. So right now, as I've talked about, when Do Kwon forked the chain and left LUNC, Luna Classic, on its own, there was a vacuum, right, that was created. We have another vacuum here already, right? Tobias has stepped down. Who is going to lead this L1 development team? Who's going to step up? Do we have to hire somebody? Can these guys handle it on their own? Well, I haven't seen it yet, but from what I understand, TCV, I got to find what this is, but I was just told TCV is already trying to take over the L1 task force, right? Everybody's going to come rushing in. Everybody's going to have their idea of who this person should be that should take Tobias's place. There's another vacuum, right? And understand that anybody who revives this chain, anybody who does the work and that we can point to at the end and say, we got there, and we got there because of this person or because of this group, the notoriety, the fame, the appreciation, the accolades, write your own ticket, right? It's going to be phenomenal, right? Or it would be phenomenal if it ever happened. And people want that. People want that. They see that opportunity. They say, I want to be the person who does that, or we want to be the group that does that. So now he's gone, right? And all of you people who claimed he was this and he was that, or he wasn't doing this or he wasn't doing that, time to step up. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you do. And there's already by Rabbi, there's been another proposal on Agora, right? There was and I haven't read it yet, but I do want to read it. I just haven't had time. There was a Medium article that was put out by Alex Forshaw, talking about, an alternative proposal, one that, excludes Zaradar. Well, he's gone anyway, right? There's all kind of ideas from people of what they want to do. There's nothing that says we can only have one L1 team. I don't know why everybody's acting like that's the way it's going to be. Now, maybe it's because, out of the community pool, you can't really afford to pay 2 teams. But all these other people were complaining about all the money that everybody's taking, Tobias is taking, and LBA is taking for doing this job that they consider to be so simple. Time to step up. Step up. Put your team together. Don't take money out of the community pool. Find another way to fund it. Or better yet, do it for your bag. Do it for the love of the community. There was, and this is silly, right? But this is what it reminds me of. I remember when I was in high school, probably a freshman in high school, right? There was a girl that, she was the it girl, right? Gorgeous. Everybody wanted to be around her. Everybody wanted to date her, right? But she wasn't dating anybody. So I think because everybody was afraid to even ask her, right? I stepped up and I asked her. I asked her out. Shaking in my boots, but I asked her out, fully expecting she's way out of my league, but she said yes. And I remember that feeling when she said yes. I was dumbfounded. Now what do I do? Uh-oh, I just got what I wanted. Now what am I going to do? How am I ever going to live up to this? I'm going to take this girl out. She's going to think I'm an idiot, right? This is what this makes me think of. All you guys wanted this. You wanted it so bad. Here it is. You got it. What are you going to do with it? I'll bet you're shaking in your boots. I want to see what you bring to the table. I want to see how you come in and revive everything and fix everything, because all this time you've known exactly how to do it. You've known exactly what Tobias should or should not be doing. Well, now's your time to shine. So have at it. All right, y'all. You have any comments? And I'm sure you do. Leave them in the comment section. And I will talk to you later. Hit the like button for me if you could on the way.